So at Make Way for Books, our mission is to give all children the chance to read and succeed. This is actually our 25-year anniversary this year, and we've been working to ensure that young children and their parents, the adults around them, have all of the tools that they need so that children can start school ready to read. We received feedback from families that they wanted to continue being in our programs or continue having more access to that type of content. So it was thought that by developing something like an app, we might be able to make these resources available. It's an early literacy app designed for families with little ones ages 0 to 5. And we're here today because we've developed this really beautiful collaboration with the University of Arizona.
I'm so thrilled with Make Way for Books and this collaboration that we've done.
About 30,000 people are impacted every year by the work that Make Way for Books does. You know, their goal is to provide literacy skills at that point when kids have, the best benefit from it. So early on, providing them the tools that will help them really succeed throughout their life.
One of the most important ways that we work to achieve our mission is by giving families, like I said, lots of books. We want to give them access to books. That's a real core piece of what we do. And the app is a really important element of that.
Have you ever considered putting books online through it as well?
Well, 389 is an introduction to publishing in the children's and young adult market.
And we developed this idea that students that are in her publishing class might be able to develop original manuscripts. And since they come from such a variety of backgrounds, they really bring a whole lot in terms of their own personal experiences, their own kind of diverse backgrounds.
For the first 8 weeks of the semester, they're focused on just picture books. They're learning the form. They go through brainstorming, they kind of group up with, what do we want to write about? What have you been seeing, in what you've been reading? And so they go through that. They go through a series of peer reviews. I give them feedback. We go through numerous drafts, and they're creating their own stories.
So getting to work kind of hands-on, actually read query letters, write query letters, that sort of thing, go through reading, actually line editing, that all really was interesting to me, and I felt it was useful to my overall career in general.
So what you are going to help us do through this collaboration is help us to create original books that really do have a real, tangible impact, a lasting impact in our community.
Jose, who's now running the app at Make Way for Books, he started off in my 389 class. So it's kind of cool to see that come full circle.
It almost feels like it needs to be 2 illustrations.
Mm-hmm. Getting to actually go to the story sprint and work on that process of actually sitting there with editors and illustrators and fixing it, go down to lines, actually figuring out what this is supposed to be. I found that to be perhaps the most hands-on part.
She did great work in that class, but then to have her come in and now do this and see how much she's grown as a student and as a writer, it was great.
I got to speak with the illustrator, read my story to her.
My mother told me when I was a baby that it was clear and it would change colors as I grew.
Speaking with the editors, they would read it, kind of give me feedback on maybe what I could fix.
So I think you're on something there. Kids know feelings.
And then it was awesome. I was just redrafting right there.
For a college student to be able to say, I've got a publication, it's a really great experience.
You don't have a lot of experience just getting your work out there, and so that was really awesome. And they were also kind, and helpful.
I got to see when her artist, turned it around and her face oh my gosh, this is my story. So it's been great, and I love the continuity that I get with some of these students.
It really gave me a way to see into what this process could look like on a larger scale, not just working for children's books necessarily, and make sure that this is good to put out into the world.
But then after that, we publish them, we illustrate them, and make them available bilingually on the app for free so that families anywhere can use them.
And every semester, I think it just keeps getting better. There's a lot of adults who have young children who don't know how to interact with books and with their children, and that's really what the app is meant for. It's not meant to be handed off as entertainment, but rather how can we learn and read this together.
And it's grown along with our family education and literacy programming, kind of hand in hand, really, because the app is trying to replicate that experience or provide more of that.
And so for students to realize how much you can do with not a lot of effort, and the more people that are stronger readers, critical thinkers, the stronger our community is as a whole.